everyone, and welcome to episode 11. Yes, y'all, we are actually at episode 11. So, how well are you? The talk show is moving right along. So, we are here because we're ending the stigma surrounding mental illness. Yep, one show at a time. Thank you so much for joining us as we explore all aspects of mental health. We are, as I say, fearlessly tackling every topic. We leave no stone unturned. Now, if you're watching the replay, simply drop hashtag replay in the comments, and we appreciate you joining us even after the live session. Make sure when you comment, make sure you do hashtag replay so we can know that you're in the replay and commenting on the replay. And I'm just loving this journey that we're on together as we encourage others to understand and have compassion for those who are navigating the complexities of mental well-being. So go ahead, hit the share button because we want everyone to know we're here right now. Your support means the world to us, and we want to hear from you. So feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, please. So, I'm Cynthia Mobley Howell, your host and the founder and CEO of How Well Are You, where our mission is to empower you to achieve your optimal health. That is spiritually, mentally, and physically. I'm also the creator of How Well Are You, the talk show. So, in today's captivating installment, we're going to delve into the topic that's been a cornerstone of modern wellness, self-care. But here's the twist. We're focusing on how self-care is a vital and empowering practice specifically for women. Okay, fellas, you can eavesdrop. You can eavesdrop. So, in a world where juggling responsibilities and societal expectations and personal aspirations can often feel like an uphill journey, it is imperative to take a moment to focus on your own well-being. And that's precisely what self-care aims to accomplish rather. So this evening, we're going to unravel some layers of this essential practice and explore how it impacts the lives of women from all walks of life. In this episode, we're going beyond the surface level of just, face mask and bubble baths. We're going to delve into the heart of self-care. We're going to discuss its significance as a means of nurturing the mind, the body, and the spirit. So, from setting healthy boundaries and cultivating mindfulness to embracing self love and prioritizing mental health, we are here to what? To empower and inspire. So, if you're ready to explore the art of self care from a fresh perspective, if you're seeking to amplify your understanding of how this practice can truly empower women, then you are in the right place. So get ready to be inspired, informed, and motivated to embark on a journey of self-discovery and well-deserved self-care. So we're going to dive into episode 11 because when women prioritize themselves, y'all, the possibilities are endless. So go ahead, tag your BFF, and hit that share button now so others can also benefit from what we're about to learn. Now that being said, allow me to introduce our amazing guest. And not only is she an expert in the field and knowledgeable, she's beautiful. I just have to give the credit where the credit is due. Giavonni Downing, and I love that name, is a business owner. She's a speaker and certified health and wellness coach. And she is on a mission to empower women. Yep, there's that word again, ladies. She's on a mission to empower women to live authentically. Through her coaching practice, Giavonni empowers women, there's that word again, to prioritize self care, find balance in their busy lives, and tap into their inner strength and resilience. Her holistic approach, and I love this because this is right in alignment with How Well Are You? Her holistic approach focuses on spiritual, mental, and emotional well being, grounded in a deep belief. All right, now she said a deep belief in the power of authenticity and self love. Everyone, help me welcome and show some love for Giavonni Downing. Hey, Giavonni.
Hey, Cynthia. I mean, you have set the stage here. The energy is flowing. I'm so grateful to be here, and thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you for being here. Thank you for saying yes. And your energy is right on point as well. And as I was sharing with you earlier in the back room, I noticed you when we were cohorts, speaker cohorts in the Black Speaker Mental Health series back in during Health Awareness Month. I think it was in May. This year is going by so fast. But you caught my attention for two reasons. Obviously your content was off the chain. What you were saying was so meaningful, but you looked absolutely gorgeous. You had on like teal and some other color, yellow or something, but I was like, oh my goodness, she is just exuding everything that I love this girl already. So anyway, when I heard you, I knew that I had to reach out to you to get you on the show. So I am so excited that you're here. I've been anticipating this moment. So I am not going to prolong the time. Let us go ahead and set the foundation for this discussion. And I'm going to allow you to provide some context and explain the significance of addressing women's mental wellness and how it's connected to self-care. Why is it important that our mental wellness is a critical topic, and how can self-care play a role in improving it?
Sure, that's a great question. I mean, you touched on some things just in the opening and the introduction, and we think about mind, body, and spirit, right? They
Mhm.
are separate components of this one entity, which is you or me or the individual. And we know that men and women are aware of this, but there's something called this superwoman, the superwoman identity, superwoman syndrome. And I describe that as some woman, I don't know who she is because this is like fictitious, right? But the superwoman syndrome is what causes women to think that they have to be everything to everyone. They have to keep their home immaculate. They have to look according to societal standards of beauty. They have to show up for family and friends. They have to work hard at work. And they have to balance all these hats. And there's this spoken and unspoken cultural pressure that makes women feel that they don't have space to need a break. They don't have space to take time for themselves. And that leaves so many women with stress and anxiety. And we know that stress and anxiety impacts not just our mental health, but our physical health. There are so many illnesses that are in the body that are directly correlated to our mental wellness, whether it be obesity and overeating, high blood pressure. There's so many things that we can prevent if we can manage to tackle our mental and emotional wellness. And that's something I'm passionate about, just from seeing women, either clients that I deal with or women I've encountered throughout the tenure of my life, both personally and professionally. Women are cracking under this pressure, and
Mm.
this pressure is unrealistic. There's no such thing as superwoman. I always say, who is she, first of all? And why are so many people aspiring to be her? So I'm really passionate about just dismantling a part of that cultural narrative that women, as women we find ourselves in. And as a result, we put ourselves on the bottom of the priority list. And typically, there's no time left, there's no energy left, there's no focus left to cater to our own needs. And we wind up depleted. There are a lot of women who exist in exhaustion. Like if exhaustion is your norm, if being tired every day all the time is your norm, those are signals that you need to switch the narrative and begin to bring yourself up on that priority list and prioritizing your self-care and wellness.
You said a mouthful. You said a mouthful. And Deborah says stress induced diabetes is real. And she narrowed it down to diabetes. Apparently, she may have some experience with that or what have you, because as you were mentioning, stress and lack of self care is directly a
Yes.
direct culprit when it comes to poor physical health. And I'm so glad that you said that,
Mhm.
because many women do not realize that. And you said so much. You said a word that I have to go back to. My best friend's daughter, my best friend has 4 children, and I've lost count of how many grandchildren she has. Now we're the same age. We had our babies 3 days apart. My son was born. Her daughter was born 3 days later in 1977. But she went on to have more. She had 3 more. I only had the one. I say he's Alpha and Omega. He's the beginning and the end. But she went on to have 3 more. Thus, she has like 20 something grandchildren now. I lost count. I was keeping up with them for a while and I lost count. And she also has great grandchildren. But this is my point. Her daughter often says to her, Mama, you are not superwoman. You ain't superwoman. Stop trying to be her. And as you said, society puts so much pressure on women because of the different societal norms and the cultural norms and the roles that we are supposed to play. Well, you're supposed to do the cooking and you're supposed to do the cleaning, and pretty much the roles, in my opinion, that have been placed on women far outweigh the roles that are placed on men. They're not expected to cook, to clean, to wash. So I'm going to hush and step out. And I want you to speak specifically to some of those roles and those societal norms that we have been expected to adhere to. And that's why so many women are breaking down. I forgot the term that you used, but it was a great term that you used. I just said breaking down, but you used another term, I think. Talk about that a little bit more.
Yes, I mean, in terms of the societal norms, I mean, we've all, seen it just in our nation, in our culture, where of course there was a time where women's primarily, role in the home was, being a caregiver, taking care of children, managing the household, all those different things. And men's role was typically, working outside the home. But as time has shifted, now women still have all the same responsibilities and roles that existed generations ago. But then, in addition, we also have the pressures of work and the stresses of career, entrepreneurship, business ownership. So now, as you stated, there's this compiling of pressures and roles on women, but where's the release and where's the outlet?
Mm.
So, I'm a woman who's a wife, a business owner. I manage a lot of different things. So I have lots of roles and responsibility, but my self-care is a top priority because I know that if I don't take care of myself, I'm limited in my ability to not only take care of other people, but just to really live authentically. And I want to dial back to the comment that we had that someone mentioned about stress and anxiety. It's really important that we raise awareness around these topics because a lot of times women operate in exhaustion. Sometimes stress and anxiety is so normative that many women don't even realize that their self-care is being neglected because they're so used to being on autopilot, so used to working on limited hours of sleep. And when we think about stress and anxiety, it manifests in physical symptoms, which can be muscle tension, headaches, body aches, fatigue, energy levels, chronic pain. It can even develop into heart palpitations, digestive issues. There's a lot of people who have digestive issues, and a lot of that can be tied to stress and anxiety. There's also the cognitive impact of stress and anxiety. Neglecting your mental health, that can lead to depression, situational depression, anxiety, mood disorders, difficulties making decisions, memory issues, forgetfulness. And then we have emotional manifestations of stress and anxiety. Sometimes being volatile in terms of how you deal with situations and circumstances, feeling unable to cope. So there's all these different components, mind, body, and spirit, that are direct correlation to our mental well-being, our stress and anxiety. Now, I don't have any magic wand to be able to go out here and remove stress from anyone's life, right? I can't do that. I can't remove the pressures because we live in a modern day society and it is what it is. But what I'm intent on doing is equipping women with the tools to navigate. We can't alleviate it altogether, but when we have the tools to navigate, to really usher in a strong and solid, sustainable self-care practice, then we're able to live authentically and really live our purpose. We weren't designed, we want to take it to the Bible. God loves us. God doesn't want us out here on the struggle bus every day.
Right.
God doesn't want to see us so depleted that we can't even meet our own basic needs. So, taking care of ourselves, there's a spiritual component. Our bodies are a temple, and we're given this gift of life, and a part of stewardship over that is self-care. Self-care equals stewardship. If I had a chalkboard, I would write that. Self-care equals stewardship.
Well, that's tweetable. That's tweetable right there. Wow. You girl, let me tell you, you are dropping some nuggets up in here today. And it's funny because you're saying so much that's the questions that are coming to my mind to ask you. As these questions are coming, you're already addressing what I'm about to ask you. And I'm like, oh my goodness, she is right on point. I like that. Let me dial back to one thing and then I have a question for you.
Okay.
When you were talking about all of these outward illnesses and manifestations because women are under so much stress because we're I'm every woman, it's all in me, yeah, that thing, and that's cute, that's cool, and that's cute. I love the song, but listen, I ain't trying to be no every woman, and it ain't all in me. So this is what I want this is what I want to speak to. It's no wonder. How often do you hear women saying, I got this going on with me. My back is aching. I got digestive issues. I'm having migraines, and I went to the doctor and they can't find anything wrong with me. I wonder why.
That happens. I mean, that happens so often. And I kind of, I want to stay in the lane, but give a little more context because
Come
earlier,
on with it. Come on.
actually, earlier I was headed to Office Depot, and my husband asked me a question regarding like my why. What sparked this passion for me, and one key moment that really sparked it. So I used to be a certified personal trainer, and I operated a business called Healthy Her Fitness. And
Okay.
I had all female clients, right? And so clients will come to me because they want to get in physical shape. They want to lose weight. They want to be stronger, XYZ. And I'm serious. So I was, I'm cracking the whip, hitting the workouts hard. But I noticed a trend. And the trend was that about 85% of my clients, the barrier and obstacle to their physical wellness had nothing to do with their physical capability. It was mental and emotional. And as I was going through, our workout programs, I realized I was like, wow, I'm almost, playing a different role here. Like I thought I was here just for physical wellness. But when I realized these barriers were so layered, it sparked in me the desire to be able to help women beyond the physical, to help women navigate the mental and emotional barriers that manifest in our physical health. Because when we talk about the physical manifestation, like you said, back pain, digestive issues, we want a quality of life to thrive and to live and to be able to live on this earth and do what God has called us to do to the best of our abilities. But we can't do that if we're neglecting ourselves to the extent that we have sleep apnea and we can't sleep at night. And now we have to spend money on all these, medication or different things because we're not taking care of ourselves. So that, I really see that that's the core. And that was the spark for me that really sparked me to want to transition to help women on a more holistic level, mind, body, and spirit, because they're intertwined. There's no way if your mental and emotional wellness is not intact, it is going to be very hard to be in physical good health. Like, I mean, it's going to be very, very challenging. And those are things that we really have to spend more time adjusting and navigating.
I love it. I absolutely love everything you are saying because everything that you are saying is everything that I say, not on a platform, but when I'm talking one on one with my girls, these are the things that I'm sharing with them. So, with that being said, can you give us some strategies and some tips that can help women incorporate self-care practice into these hectic lives that we're living so that our mental well-being can be supported? Because as you say, it's a holistic situation. If your mind ain't right, your body ain't gonna be right. And if your body ain't right, your mind and your spirit, you're gonna suffer in your spiritual, in the spiritual aspect. I absolutely believe that the three, because the Bible talks about the body, the soul and the spirit. They are intertwined. And I absolutely believe that they all need to be operating optimal in order for us to operate optimal. So give us some strategies and some tips that we can incorporate to help us in this situation that a lot of women are in.
Okay, this is simple, right? I like simple, practical strategies. And self-care, though it could be about vacationing in Tahiti and these $400 spa trips, that can happen. But the reality is, unless you are Oprah Winfrey, how often are we able to spend money on excursions and trips and getaways? And if that is your version of self-care, you need another version of self-care, because
Mm,
self-care has to be something that's consistent. Self-care is not something you do once a year at a girl's getaway. It's a consistent practice. And I always coach to time. Time is the most valuable resource that any of us have. There is nothing more valuable than your time. So first you look at, how do you spend your time? Your time is an indication of what's important. You take care
mm.
of your children with your time. Why? Because they matter. You make time for your parents. Why? Because they're important. Your time has to indicate your value in yourself. Making time for yourself is not selfish, it is a reflection of the fact that you believe that you are valuable. And because you're valuable, you make time for yourself. So here's what we do: practical, right? I start with 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Now, if you don't have 10 minutes in a day, I I can't think of any person who doesn't have 10 minutes in a full day.
10 minutes, y'all. She said 10.
10,
1-0.
1-0. Start your self-care practice with just saying, okay, I'm going to set aside 10 minutes, whether it be morning, noon, evening, whatever. Start small with 10 minutes. And within your 10 minutes, I'll kind of share some of the things that I do and some of the things that a lot of clients start off with in the beginning. So when you start your 10 minutes out, if you are someone who does like to write, journaling is a very powerful tool that you can use within that 10-minute window. You may say to yourself, man, I don't like to journal. I don't like to write. Okay. In that 10-minute window, you can practice meditative breathing, breath work. Breath work can help alter the nerves in your brain to help reduce stress on a daily basis. So there's something called the parasympathetic nervous system. That is the part of the nervous system that keeps you calm, keeps you relaxed. And then we've also heard of this fight or flight system, right? If there's a big bear in the corner, there's something in my brain that lets me know, oh, shoot, I'm going to panic. My heart rate is going to go up. So when you do breath work and meditative breathing, it helps train and condition the part of your brain that stays calm, that doesn't fly off the handle, the part that can stay calm and is relaxed. And the more you do breath work, you condition that part of your brain and you condition those nerves. So then when you're in real life situations and you encounter stress, instead of your reaction being a 10, it may just be a 5. So it helps you handle stresses and pressures better, but you practice the meditative breathing. That is a game changer. One of the easiest way to start that is box breathing. So when you think about a box, you have 4 corners. So you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold the breath for 4 seconds, and then you exhale for 4 seconds and you repeat. That's it. So you slowly inhale, you can just, use your fingers, count to 4. You hold the breath for 4 seconds and then you exhale for 4 seconds. Doing that literally takes what? 4 times 3 is 12 seconds. You can do that 3 times. That's 36 seconds. That's not even 1 minute. And it doesn't cost you a trip, a plane ticket, anywhere.
I love it. I love it.
But I think the first thing is always just setting the time. What you do in the time may vary from person to person, but set the time. Set the times. If you can commit to yourself and say, I'm going to start spending 10 minutes, even a few days a week, just on my self care. Put it in your calendar. Go to a space that's comfortable for you. You may sit there in silence and just relax. Maybe it's an opportunity where, people aren't calling you and asking you questions and unplug. You can do your journaling. You also can do some of the meditative breathing. A lot of times it's good if there's something that you're struggling with, sometimes writing those things out, just writing out how you feel, because it's not uncommon that we feel pressures, we feel stress, we feel anxiety, and we hold it in. And when you hold it in, it manifests in your body. And that can lead to illness and sickness and disease. Writing those things out is a way to release it from your body so that it's not just becoming stagnant toxicity and developing into, other health related challenges. So I would say journaling for sure, meditative breathing. If you're a woman of faith or you're a believer, maybe that can be time for, reading your scripture. If you're a music lover, maybe just listen to music that kind of calms and soothes you. But I would definitely, the journaling and the breathing are two things that are game changers.
Oh my, I absolutely love it. And I'm going to just pat myself on the back right now because I have actually started journaling, something that I used to not do. So I challenged myself um, almost 30 days ago. Tomorrow will be 30 days. I'll say part of it. I ain't gonna let the other part out the bag until the 30 days is up, which will be tomorrow. But one of the things that was my challenge was to journal for 30 days. And I have been journaling for 30 days. And for me to be a writer, I guess it has nothing to do with journaling, apparently, because I love to write, but I don't love to journal. But let me tell you, this has taken my life to a whole nother level since I've been journaling. So pat myself on the back. And the meditative breathing, I haven't been doing it exactly, but what I have been doing that I don't normally do is just sit quietly. That's something that I just I just couldn't do it. Hold on. Before I go any further, let me shout out to Cheryl Manley Franklin, aka Net. That's my homie. So I got to give her a shout out. And if I didn't shout out to Deborah, shout out to you, Deborah. Deborah is one of my greatest supporters, and I appreciate her immensely. So I want to shout out to these ladies. And I want to read something that Net said earlier. But before I do that, but I used to not be able to just sit still just for a few minutes. Just Cynthia, you finished, okay, you finished your daily devotion. You ain't got to jump up and run and start doing stuff. Just sit here, just let it soak in, just let it sink in. So I am practicing that. So I am certainly, because I had read about the meditative breathing, i.e. the box breathing. So I am, the way you broke it down, I'm like, you're like 4 seconds, 4 times 3 is 12. That's 12 seconds. That ain't even I mean, that's 36 seconds. That's not even a minute. Duh. So girl, I am on it, Giavonni. I am on it. But Cheryl, aka Net, said something earlier. She said, when you know better, you do better. We as women really don't even realize how much we're making our bodies sick. We haven't been educated on what, why, and how. Our choices, decisions, circumstances deprived us without even realizing it. Woo! Okay.
Wow.
I
Wow.
hear you,
Wow.
girl. I
Wow.
hear you. That's, yeah, that's Nat. When she comes, she come hard. And then Deborah said African Americans, especially women, are more likely to experience and mention physical symptoms related to mental health problems. NAMI, that's the National Alliance on Mental Illness. It is the largest grassroots mental health system, for lack of a better word, in the US.
Wow.
Yeah. And Nat said, this is very inspiring. Love this.
Good.
Very, y'all. I got a challenge over here with these contacts out here. These contacts are being disrespectful. So if y'all can read what I'm saying.
It's good to meet. It's good to meet you guys in the chat. I appreciate you all being here.
Absolutely.
And I
Go
um
ahead. Go ahead.
you mentioned about journaling, and so I've been journaling for almost 20 years.
Wow.
I started journaling. I was in college, and it was crazy. Like I would just have different moments where I would watch TV and just laughing, and I would like start crying, and I wouldn't really know what I was crying about or anything. And it would
Okay.
happen every now and then. And there was a guy I was dating at the time, and one time he saw me just start crying, and he was like, "Oh, what's wrong?" And I was like, "Honestly, I don't know. Like I have no idea." And he said, "Well, that's not normal. You should probably go to see someone." And at the time, I said, "Well, I'm a student. We have, the little health insurance at the school health department or whatever. Why not go?" And I went to a therapist for the first time. And when I went to the therapist, we talked, and that was her recommendation. She recommended that I go home and just write. And she said, "Come back next session, and then we'll just see, if you want to share what you wrote, you can, and we'll just kind of go from there." And I wrote, I went back and I shared. And that moment showed me the power of journaling and the power of writing. Because when you think about it, there's some statistics, there's research. The average person has over 50,000 thoughts daily. Over 50,000 thoughts the average person has daily. So that's like all this stuff swarming, swarming, swarming.
Wait a minute. Did you say 50,000 thoughts
Yes,
daily?
50,000. So 50,000. The average person has over 50,000 thoughts per day. And 95% of those thoughts are the same thoughts from the day before. That's based on research, right? That
Okay.
is showing us that our minds are constantly going and that we're taking the weight, the burden of the pressures from Monday into Tuesday, from Tuesday into Wednesday, from Wednesday into Thursday. And by the time 30, 60, 90 days, 2, 5, 6, 7 years have passed, we're compiled under the pressure of all these thoughts, all these worries, all these pressures, everything. And journaling is a way to take a lot of that weight and pressure and dump it on the paper. Drop some of it off on the paper. And when you look at the paper, there will be things that you look at and say, dang, I didn't realize that was really bothering me as much as it was. And you begin to have greater self-awareness. It leads to more self-discovery. And then it helps you navigate a lot of those thoughts. And that was a pivotal point for me was when I started journaling. And I've been journaling almost 20 years.
Wow, that is very encouraging because when I tell you I have like I don't know how many journals because people always give you journals for gifts, and I'm thinking people don't. I'm thinking in my mind, don't give me no more journals because I ain't journaling. Don't give me no more. But now so here I have a beautiful journal that my goddaughter gave me for
Ooh,
Mother's Day
I have a few.
uh,
I
with the matching ink pen and the matching tumbler.
like
Um, so yeah, so I have been using it for day 29. It's day 29. And so thank you so much for sharing that, Giavonni. And Deborah says, and 20,000 of those thoughts come right before bedtime. Now, you know what? Oh my goodness. Y'all, this is so good. We're going to take a short break. I'm telling you, this is so good. If you're being helped, and I see you all showing the love, thank you all so much for your feedback, for your comments. Giavonni, baby, you got the goods, honey. You got the goods. And I need you all to share this because we as women need this information. And especially, I ain't mad at nobody, I ain't throwing shade at nobody else, but we as African American women, we need this information because in a lot of situations we are just so far behind time. A lot of cultures have been already doing these things and we thought they were mojoing and witchcrafting. When you say things like meditation, especially black folks, we be like, what? We be looking all crazy. Meditation is biblical.
Mhm. Yeah.
Joshua said about the word, and I am a preacher, so you're gonna get a little preach up in here. Joshua said that you would meditate on his word day in
Right. Yeah.
and day and night, and you will find good success. You will prosper and you'll find good success. I know I'm just crucifying that
No,
scripture, but y'all that know the word know what I'm talking about.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So this is good stuff. This is good stuff. And I am just loving everything that you are saying. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back. And when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation about how we as women can elevate our mental wellness through the practice of self-care. We're going to come back. Giavonni Downing is here and she is bringing the heat, y'all. She is dropping the nuggets. So please, if you care about your girls, please, please, please share this. Make sure that they get this information so that we can be better. Hold on just one moment and we will be right back. Hey, y'all, we are back with Giavonni Downing, and she is bringing the heat. She is bringing the heat. We are talking about women elevating your mental wellness through self care. If you missed the first half, make sure you go back and watch the replay because I remember when probably about 20 years ago, in the church scene, there was these brothers and their last name were Pugh, and they wasn't hard to look at either. But whenever we would be in church and they would say who the minister of the hour was going to be, they used to holler, "You about to hear something now?" So guess what? We're in the second half of this thing right here, episode 11. Guess what? Y'all about to hear something now. This young lady has been bringing the heat. Hi, Erica. Thank you so much for joining us. She says, enjoying the conversation, ladies.
Hey,
Thank
Erica.
you. So, Giavonni,
Yeah.
moving right along here. So, self-care is often seen as something that you do individually, like it's an individual pursuit. But I believe that with self-care, that support systems are crucial. So how can families and workplaces, since a lot of people spend a good portion of their time at work, and communities, how can these entities contribute to creating an environment where women's mental wellness is a shared priority?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, we can start first maybe thinking about like in the context of family. And we know that family can put so many pressures and demands on you almost more than than anyone else, any job. When we think about family, it's as we gain the individual awareness, it attributes to our cultural communal awareness. Being able to see family members who, maybe we're noticing like, man, she is like always worn out. She's always exhausted. Or maybe being able to see that, she's not really focusing like she normally is. Being able to recognize some of these things, even the health concerns, as we mentioned, recognizing some of those health concerns. So when we see that in the context of our family, we're able to start asking more questions and maybe help lead that individual to a self-care practice if that's something that's needed. But what we can do in terms of family support is respecting our family members. I talk a lot about authenticity, right? Authenticity, like we all have sets of fingerprints, right? Like nobody has the same fingerprints. My husband is a twin, and even him and his identical twin, they're different. Living a life that's true to who you are and not who someone else wants you to be. A lot of times in family, we want people to be what we want them to be and not give them space to be who God called them to be. Now, it is a possibility that, you want your sister to be the one that can be there for you all the time. But maybe that's not what she's called to do. If she's called to do work or do other things, that may pull her away. And we have to respect the authenticity of people in our family. Just because you share the same last name doesn't mean you have to share the same path in life. So, authenticity, respecting that, being aware of those things. In a work context, if you work in corporate America, most companies have, the vacation package, vacation plans. There's so many people who don't even take their vacation. It's like, why? Why are you not taking your vacation? And also, those a lot of companies now have the employee. Oh, I can't think of the acronym, but it's like the employee assistance program where they have, mental health, mental wellness. There's a lot of times like life coaching, goal coaching that you can leverage as a part of your company's program. Even with insurance, if you work for a company, you can check with your insurance provider because a lot of companies will give you discounts on gym memberships and fitness memberships because they understand that a healthier individual is a healthier employee. So those are things we can take advantage of. I've always taken advantage of those benefits. I'm like, if I can get half off on my gym membership, sign me up.
There you go.
So taking advantage of those things, and I know we talked earlier about some strategies, right? We talked about journaling, mindfulness, meditation. I wanted to give a few things came to mind of things that can help someone who's know they need some self care. They set a time for 10 minutes and then they sitting there like, my mind is racing. I'm feeling stressed in this 10 minutes. Another meditation practice is focus meditation. So if you sit in your 10 minutes and you realize your mind is all over the place, you could light a candle. And what you do is sit there and just focus on the flame. Just focus on the flame the entire time. And that is a way to help eliminate some of the distractions and other thoughts in your mind. And that's a really quick, simple, easy way to get into a meditative practice if you are new to meditating, because it can be somewhat challenging if you are not used to calming your thoughts. So the focus meditation is a good tip that someone can use. Hey, Erica said yep, ERGs. That's right. Those resources groups and free counseling sessions come through companies as well too. Yeah, take advantage. Hey, that you're working hard for these companies. Take advantage of everything that comes along with it. You earning it.
You're right. You're right. I absolutely love it. I love that tip about the burning candle because see, that's what if people like I don't consider myself to be ADD or ADHD or anything like that. I don't think I am, but I'm not that person that goes to the ocean and sit there. I be trying to think of everything I can to do. Like this ain't getting it. I can't just. I got to go somewhere. Now, mind you, I'm a homebody. I don't be out in the streets. I'm not a shopper. I don't have. Usually, when I come from church Sunday, I may not go out the house anymore. Sometimes to the next Sunday or Saturday, and that's because I have to go food shopping. So I can be up in the house, but when you talk about like go sit on the lanai and just sit there, I'm like, I can't like it's like like you said, your mind is like all over the place. But again, with what I have been doing these past 29 days, I am like, girl, you gonna sit here, you ain't moving right. Sit your tail right here. Just
Mhm.
take just take a couple of seats right now because we're always moving and don't give ourselves time to quiet ourselves. One of the things that I want to ask you because this is I want to ask you about the B word, boundaries.
Oh,
setting
I was like, where are we going? Where are we going with this conversation? Okay, I'm comfortable now. Okay, I was like, what? Boundaries. Okay, let's go with boundaries. I'm ready. Go ahead.
so just talk, we a lot of let me not say we because I'm not included in this. A lot of women, people, but since we're talking about women, let's say women have a problem saying no. I tell people no is a whole word and a complete sentence. We have a problem setting boundaries. We think every time somebody call, we got to go, and especially with family, we think we don't teach people to respect our space. We feel like we just always gotta say yes, and people gotta always be up in our space. And I don't allow anything to be up in my space like that. Like social media, I have the apps on my phone, but the notifications are turned off because y'all ain't gonna be dinging me every 5 minutes. When I go on my PC, that's when I know you hit me on IG or you hit me on Facebook or you hit me on LinkedIn. It's on my phone for my convenience, but with no notifications because I don't want to see no numbers popping up and I don't want to hear no dinging because I got to have some time away from social media. But I went off on a tangent. Just talk to us about setting. Ned said, ouch, wait a minute.
The B word, boundaries.
Yeah, when I was talking about the social media, Ned said, ouch. Okay, let's talk about the B word,
So
setting those boundaries.
so boundaries. Okay, so and I'm still gonna tie this in to she said she's the same way. Tie I'm gonna tie this in to the stillness and meditative practice, right? So when we
Okay.
talk about boundaries, being everywhere, doing everything, mine's here, mine's there, unplugged. You have like the root core issue, and then the things that are like an offset of that. And self-care is at the root. So for example, when we talked about the breath work and breathing, doing that, 36 seconds of your time to do breath work and breathing, or sitting in stillness, that practice begins to familiarize your brain with what it's like to be still. That practice begins to condition you to the experience of quiet, calm. So then, when things begin to happen that are disruptive and chaotic, it's almost like you begin to repel those things because you're conditioning yourself to something else. And earlier I mentioned sometimes women operate in exhaustion and it's a norm. You don't realize it because you're so used to it. But let you go on vacation somewhere, let you go on a 2-week vacation, and you come back and all that craziness, you'll feel overwhelmed, right? Because you just had the opportunity to experience something different. That's a key part of that meditative and stillness practice. It conditions you to have that still experience. So now the Facebook, the Instagram, they'll feel disruptive where before you were so used to it's just a normal thing, right? You kept moving. I'll give an example of it. So I like to work out in the morning. And, you know, I have some clients, sometimes people like to text me really early. And so there's times where it's like, okay, I'm on my bike and then somebody's texting or email. And naturally, I want to reply. Or even if I don't reply, I'm like, oh, should I reply now? Should I just reply and get this over with? Or wait? But either way, they disrupted. They disrupted what I have going on. So I say to myself, like, look, what is my priority? What is my priority? If I'm my priority and my health and wellness is my priority, I have to maintain a sacred space. It's almost like you don't leave your front door open for anybody to walk all up and through your house doing what they want to do. You close the door to create a boundary to
You better
make
talk, girl.
space. This is your home. And there's some people that you'll let in and some you won't. You may not open the door at midnight, but maybe you'll open it at 2 p.m. It's the same thing with your health and wellness. It's your sacred space. And you have to decide how you guard that boundary. Because if your front door, just like in the physical house, if your front door is wide open, people are going to be tracking their dirty shoes all up into your house all day long if you leave the door open. So it's up to you. You have the key, you have the power, you set the boundary, and you protect your sacred space.
Wow, I love that. And that's so something that you said so resonates with me. And I love it how you made the analogy of just leaving your front door open so people just can walk up in there anytime they get ready. No. So I'm the same way. I work out in the morning, right? So what I have started doing, because like I have people too that like to text me early in the morning. I be wanting people to be like me. Like, have I ever texted you at that time in the morning? So why are you texting me at that time in the morning? And I say this: I live in a retirement city. So most people here are retirees. Therefore, my church is heavily populated. Probably 90% of my church is seniors. And I'm part of the ministerial staff. So whenever there's a sickness or death or what have you, the pastor always sends a group text out to the deacon staff and the ministerial staff. But I say, and don't nobody come for me. I'm just gonna tell y'all how I be saying it. And I ain't mad at the people of a certain age. But I said, why these little old people be responding to the text at 2 o'clock in the morning? I know y'all retired and stuff. I'm too, but still, why are y'all so? My phone goes off at 10 o'clock. It goes on do not disturb at 10 o'clock at night. Because you are not going to disturb me. But so I wanted to say that. The other thing is I work out in the morning too. So what I do is, because people are texting and I'm exactly what you said. I'm like, ooh, because your curiosity wants to look at it, and then you look at it, and then you're thinking, well, should I just go ahead and answer and get it over with? No, because for me, because once I start, then something else is going to happen. Then I'm off to the races. So what I have been doing it for the last 29 days is putting my phone on do not disturb while I'm working out. But you know what I had to work through, Giavonni?
What?
I wonder if somebody texted me because it's so I'm like, you know what? This mine, baby. This mine. Y'all, y'all. Okay, so
and if you find yourself wondering, because I know you're not the only one, you can just tell yourself, you know what? Once I finish working out, I'll find out.
Right, and that's what I've been doing. I'm like, yeah.
If
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was talking and I didn't hear what you said.
No, I said you're not the only one that thinks that. So even that curiosity or that thought that says, man, I wonder if anybody's texting me, just tell yourself, you know what? I'll find out. Once I finish working out, I'll find out if anyone was texting me. And I can still maintain my sacred space. And I can still find out once I finish.
I love that. I love that term. Maintain my sacred space. I cannot wait because I always go back and watch the videos. I cannot wait to go back and watch this because I'm trying to focus and making sure I'm catching the comments and doing what I'm doing over here on this end, the techie end, because it's a one-woman show right now. But I cannot wait. So Giavonni, oh my goodness. Before we wrap up, could you please share some? And you've already done some of that, but officially, can you share some parting words of wisdom and encouragement, specifically focusing on how we can continue to uplift women's mental wellness through effective self-care practices? Take it away, my sister.
I would leave with parting words. I would say a few things. One, and these are tips because I'm all about the strategies. But as a woman, examine your self-talk. Examine the things you say to yourself. Examine how you talk to yourself, and ask yourself if I talked to other people the way I talk to myself, how many friends would I have? So we don't
Mm.
need a culture of beating ourselves up. We don't need a culture of feeling bad about not being able to do everything. Remember that Superwoman is not real. She is 100% not real. You don't have to do what your mother did or what your sister and aunt are doing. God has called you to a unique path that's authentically your own. The only thing you have to do is steward your health and wellness, create a sacred space in which you can quiet your spirit, meditate, hear from God, and move forward in your purpose. So I pray that everyone just manages to take 10 minutes. And if you can't find 10 minutes in your day, you need to message me because I'm going to challenge you to find 10 minutes in your day for self care so that we can reverse this pattern of Black women dying at early rates for preventable diseases and illness because we're constantly keeping ourselves at the bottom of our priority list. So take yourself from the bottom, put yourself to the top, and make time for yourself. That's it. That's my wrap up. That's my wrap up. Oh, and the B word. Make sure you use the B word, boundaries. 'Cause I love that.
Giovanni's like, where I was trying to figure out where we were going with this B word. I was trying to figure it out. She told me, I think she's a Christian, but where's she going with this? I forewarned you in advance. I told you, you you don't know what
You don't
might
know.
come out of here, but it's gonna be clean.
It's clean. It's
It's
clean.
gonna be clean. I'm gonna make sure it's a clean version, but um the person that's on here that knows me more than anybody that's on here is Cheryl Franklin, and she knows I just call a spade a spade. I ain't got time to be stressing about certain stuff. Yeah, I have a filter, but it's true. They say the older you get, the less of a filter you have, and I can honestly say that that is the truth. As I approach my 64th year of life, it's just like, baby, I ain't gonna do nothing to bring no shame to the Lord's name. But I just do say what I say because somebody told me years ago, why beat around the bush when you can just go and beat the bush?
I know that's right. That's a
Okay.
good word. That's a good one. And
Yeah.
it's more authentic. The older, the more we grow, hopefully we're growing in our self-awareness. We're growing in our understanding of who we are, our understanding of who and what God has called us to be. And we're growing in our commitment to walk that path. So that comes with the growth and being authentic. So if you want to take that journey, everything you need, the time you need will be available for you, the resources, everything will align, but you have to decide to take that journey. And if you can't find 10 minutes, call me because I there's no one too busy for 10 minutes of self-care in one day.
Speaking of, so that being said, Giovanni, as we get ready to go, I don't even want to go. Do you have any services or products that you are currently offering, and or how can our audience connect with you? As you all can see, I am scrolling her information, her social media information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen, but I would love for you to share with our audience about any products or offerings, services that you are currently offering.
Yeah, so you can, reach me. I'm at Giavonni Downing on all social media platforms. And I do offer, I have some coaching programs to do some health and wellness coaching. So I also, right now, I'm offering a complimentary consultation for anyone who does reach out. If you go to my Instagram page at Giavonni Downing, my link in bio, you'll see an option for that. I also created a gratitude journal called Gotta Have Gratitude that changed my mindset. And it's a 10-day journal of 10 minutes because I like things that are sustainable and realistic. So it's a 10-day journal to really help shift your mindset using the power of gratitude and writing so that you can have a refreshed and renewed and revitalized outlook to move forward in your self-care practice. So they got to have gratitude journal. It's accessible there as well. And yeah, so that's those two services and that product.
I love that. Thank you so much, Giavonni. You all make sure and go to her IG page so that you can get access to that information that she's sharing. And I want to give a shout out to my girl, Shawnee Palmer. I saw her pop in here. She's going to be on in a few weeks, and she's another powerhouse. I tell y'all, I'm telling y'all, this has been some good food for my soul this evening. Giavonni, I'm telling you, you have really brought the heat. You have really set the house on fire. I am so grateful to you. I am so thankful to you. I love what you said about the authenticity, being your authentic self. We have to be our authentic selves. There's only one of you, there's only one of me, there's only one of everybody that's listening. God broke the mold when he made all of us. So we can all snap our finger and do something with our neck and put our hand on our hip, because he didn't just break the mold when he made you. He broke the mold when he made all of us. So news flash. So we can all boast in that. And so I just want to thank you all for joining us today as we took this enlightening, and I do mean enlightening, journey into how we can empower women to elevate our mental wellness through, yes, self-care. And yes, one more and again, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to the amazing, and I gotta put that adjective before her name, Giavonni Downing, for joining us this evening and sharing her expertise. Girl, and as we conclude this episode that's dedicated to elevating women's mental wellness through self care, let's remember that by nurturing our minds and our bodies and our spirits, that we empower not only ourselves, but we also pave the way for a more balanced and resilient world. Because that, as the old folks say, it's a mean old world out there, y'all. And if we step out into the world equipped and with everything intact concerning our bodies, our spirits, and our minds, we can do more great than harm to the world. We can be most effective. So this has been How Well Are You, the talk show, where we are ending the stigma surrounding mental illness. Yes, one show at a time. I am Cynthia Mobley Howell. I am signing off for now. And don't forget to keep smiling, stay positive, and take care of your minds. And y'all already know, anybody that knows me, you already know my mantra. I am not keeping quiet anymore. We will see you all next week.